Hey, you guys. Welcome to another Barry Green live thing, and I'm glad you're here. So this is the first time doing this on YouTube in a while, and still using the same software, so I don't have to have YouTube open at all, so which is really nice. Anyway, let me say hello to some people. Chiwu. Well, hopefully saying that right. Andy and Naum and Marcio and Josh. Hey, Josh and Kizzy. Thank you guys for being here. So let me just noodle a little bit more, let some more folks show up. Anyway, I'm just kind of messing around with the changes to the tune Solar. Just these three note voicings, you know? Anyway, it's such a fun tune to play and practice to. It's a good one to practice to, too. Happy Easter to you guys, too. Greg, Luciano. Let me just scroll up, make sure I haven't missed anybody. And Gil, Luigi, and Brian. Luigi, just wanted to ask you if you could break down this tune called Tad's Delight. Man, I know the title of it, and I would surely recognize it if I heard it. But off the top of my head, I don't know that tune. So I'm sorry about that. Gianni, thanks for the comment about the tone. I don't know if you guys ever had to deal with this before, but I was having like a lot of problems with these scratchy pots, you know, to the point where that I couldn't even keep it in certain positions where the guitar would cut out, had this crackly sound. It just took me so long to think about just getting can of that spray stuff I got off of Amazon that was delivered a few days ago. And now I feel like I got a brand new guitar again. It really was affecting the tone. I mean, major, and now it's just all the knobs are just clean as a bell. I'm so happy. Thank you, Luigi. Patrick, do I plan to come out to New York to play? Yeah, when it's all over. You know, if it's over by the fall, that's the time of year I usually like to go up there. I actually had gigs planned where are we now? Yeah, in March that I just had to cancel. Yeah, I had plane tickets and everything. I mean, the airlines were cool about just giving, not a refund, but you can use the money toward another flight. But I had to cancel all those. But I usually try to get up there also in October, September, October. Ian, at this point, no, it's everything is. I mean, I probably couldn't wipe out all the theory out of my brain completely, but 90% of it is just playing at this point. But when I'm practicing, it's probably the opposite. 10%, playing, and 90% really trying to think of ways of discovering new stuff and things like that. But it's not even a matter of a believer or an advocate of not thinking about that when I'm playing. It just happens naturally, and I'm very thankful for that. Where anytime I'm playing with other musicians and on a gig or anything like that, I just really get involved on that level and not worry whether I'm getting to the cool stuff I may be working on right now. It doesn't really even matter. Hey Guy and Stefano, how are you? Andy. Yeah, deoxit. That's exactly what it was. It was like, it scared me too. He's talking about the spray that you spray in there, because when I first did it, twisted the knob and nothing happened, and I thought, oh no, man, when am I going to get to a guitar shop ever? With this stuff going on. And then I'd read the instructions, read the instructions, and came back the next day and was shocked. Discovered that it just needed some time to sit, and it was perfect. So Luigi is asking if I could talk about that time playing with Pasquale Grasso. Yeah, well, just to say that was an incredibly special moment for me, obviously. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say really other than the fact that even as a young guy, he's only in his early 30s, I'm in my late 50s. I'm old enough to be his dad. It's just a matter of just like we always talk about, that you just have no expectations as to what's going to happen. It's just like the other question that I think you asked is, yeah, I mean, we can call a tune and start playing, but if you could throw all the theory and all the practicing stuff you're working on and just throw it out, you're more likely to be able to respond to the person you're working with or playing with, and that's what it was like. And we hadn't played with each other at all ever. I've always been huge fan. So when we played that in the Dizzy Gillespie tune, we didn't talk about anything other than during the clinic. Prior to that, like I was just in the room with everybody else, listening to him do his master classes and stuff like that. And of course, I was a little amped up because he and I had talked earlier, and we talked about playing something together. And that's really kind of, by the way, has a bad feeling. In other words, not knowing that you're going to play. I'm going to disconnect my guitar cable for 1 second so I get untangled here. But knowing you're going to play, but not knowing exactly when. Feeling a little bit on the anxious side. So when he finally asked me to come up, you didn't really have any time to kind of warm up and settle into things. So that part of it I never really liked so much. But once we started playing, it was fine. And to be quite frank with you, I never got to the point where I felt like I was completely warmed up and completely relaxed. But when I listened to that performance many times, trust me, more views than are probably on the video itself. But yeah, I look back and I can hear and see the things that I wish I would have done better. But I was very happy with the whole musical part of it. And that's what you guys are hearing. My own little insecurities about what I'm playing are not even on your radar because you don't even know they're happening. And that's how how that is. But I was very happy with the overall thing. That we listened to each other and we played and we started in a cool way, and we ended in a really cool way. So yeah, it was really, really nice. And I consider him a friend now, which is the best part of all of it. I will tell you one funny story about all that stuff. Is of course I was excited about meeting him, and I got to school that day knowing that he was doing a bunch of clinics, and so I went out of my way to try to find him. I was asking a bunch of students if he'd seen Pasquale, and he was here, he was there, and finally I saw him, and as I walked up to him, a big smile came on his face, and he came right up to me and put his water and music down, his guitar. He was kind of holding like this so he could shake my hand, and I had no idea. I had no idea that he even knew who I was, so I was kind of blown away, and he said that he had seen me at the bar next door. And all this was making me feel really good until he said when he was 18 years old, and that's when it all went south for me, realizing that, oh my gosh, I am so much older than this guy, and he is playing at such a super high level. But personally, that was one of the funniest moments that I had. It was a real realization for me. But yeah, I'm not a kid anymore. But anyway, it was fantastic, and he's a great, humble, super humble, generous, genuine person. So hopefully, you enjoyed hearing that. Very early, you guys are giving me the hard ones. I know it's Bill Evans' tune, and I actually used to play that. God, probably 30 years ago in a group, and I haven't touched that tune in a long time and wouldn't feel comfortable trying it. Thomas, other than minor 7/5 chords, do you convert other chords with your secret jazz chord stuff? Yeah, man. Not only get too into this because I want to play for you guys, but that what I'm playing right now is what I call the secret jazz chord, but it's 6 chords. Not just a minor 7/5 conversion. Like right now I'm playing G sus flat 9. Now it's A flat major 7 sharp 11. Now it's B flat 13. Now it's E altered. Now it's D minor 7 flat 5. Now it's F minor 6. Now I don't know if I've gone through all of them, I think so. But all those chords I just rattled off can all be dealt with one sound, F minor, melodic or Dorian. So it's a big thing for me, It was just kind of taking Pat Martino's idea and utilizing it in the melodic minor scale as well as the Dorian, and that's when kind of came up with those ideas for that other harmony I just rattled off. And I'm doing this very quickly, not to try to zip it by you so you don't get it, but I want to play. And if you want to check that out, there is a lesson on my site. It's called the Secret Jazz Chord, and it's really filled with great information. Okay, polka dots and moon moves. That's one I do know. Can you tell us more about the way you choose to harmonize a note in the harmonic content? This is a good question too. These are all good. Um, yeah, so the only reason I'm just sitting here spacing out a little bit is it's when you say harmonic content, that's a big question because the bottom line is this. Let's just randomly take a melody note, B flat. So depending on what tune I'm in, like for instance, I was just kind of noodling through Solar. So obviously that's the 7th of C minor, you know? But if I kept on trying to harmonize the rest of the tune, just as an example, the next chord is G minor 7. Next chord is C7. Next chord is F major 7. So with B flat, that's not a chord tone, so I can't make that work. So I have to change to harmony. So what I do, I could play, let's see, I could make it F minor, although that would be problematic because that's the chord that's coming next. I could just make it in B flat over F, or G flat over F, or E flat over F. So back to C minor, G minor, C7. I'll go with this F minor, E flat 7, E flat major 7, E flat minor 7, A flat 9, D flat major 6, D minor 7 flat 5, go with B flat. Nah, I'll play D altered. The idea being that any melody note can work with any bass note. And your question, as great as it is a little too wide open for me to specify a specific thing. But one thing you could practice is what I just did, which is you can even try this as a good exercise. Just pick a melody note and pick the bass note that's the same. So obviously you can play B flat here and then continue up. So that's the major 7 on B, or diminished, or a number of other sounds. On C it's the 7th. On D flat it's the 6th. On D7 it's the flat 13. On E flat it's the 5th. On E it's E altered, F minor 9, G flat major 7, G minor 7, A flat 13, A flat 9, natural 13. And again, I'm not being a jerk. I'm just showing you that it could be anything. So it really depends on the content. Most importantly, where are you going? That's really what kind of propels the harmony is. Where am I trying to head to? But to be able to be quick on your fingers like that, so to speak, is really, really important. So you can do this on gigs. So you can harmonize your solos. So you can come up with good chord melodies or good introductions, things like that. So before we even go any further, let me see if I can. I'll just gonna wing this. So that's polka dots and moonbeams. Let's see. Thank you, Luigi. Scrapper from the Apple is a good one too. And Luigi is asking me about the Barry Harris thing. No, that's a big thing that Pasquale does, though. He studied with Barry Harris and still does. I have another story about him. I'll save it for a little later if I remember, or you remind me. But he still studies with Barry Harris. It's some of it is stuff that I kind of already knew, but I think there's more to it. A lot of it is the idea that with the diminished chord, like West did, like if you have G minor 7, here's a little G minor 7 drop 2s. And then people would approach all those by their 5s. So and West would always do stuff like that. So if there was a vamp like you'd have it's just a great way of just generating a lot of energy and movement. And all I'm doing is playing G minor and D7 flat 9, which is the same as the diminished chord. So good exercise is doing that. D7 flat 9, G minor, D7 flat 9, G minor, D7 flat 9, G minor, on and on. So it's all over the place. Let me get rid of this comment. Okay, so let's play some music here before I answer any more questions. Evidence is another good one too. Man, I haven't played that in a long time. I almost feel like doing that. It's been a long time. Do that. So I'm going to jump over to Ableton Live. I'm going to take my time, so don't make any mistakes today. So here are all my loops. So the first thing I do is just tap in a tempo here. So so that's about 201. So we're finding a drum groove that's near that, which is Lewis Hayes one, which sounds good, and I should be all set. So I'll record my comping right here, but let me get back to you guys and not, like I said, not mess this up. Okay, so let's do some comping to Evidence by Thelonious Monk. The only thing is I can't, if I do all that rhythmic stuff, it's gonna be hard. I mean, it's going to be weird because in the middle of the solo, that chorus will come up and it'll be strange. So I'm just going to play as if I'm comping already during the solo part. All right, so 2 measures of count off, and off we go. Okay. It wouldn't be a live session if I didn't press the wrong buttons. Okay. Yeah, that's a great, great tune. I haven't played it in a long time, man, but I love that one. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Let me try this out. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please don't. Let's see. Jesse Menard. Is there a practice plan for the online video lessons? I mean, I have to be, you guys know me, I'm straight shooter, so I wouldn't say, lesson 1, lesson 2. No, it's not a formatted lesson site like that. But I do have lessons in categories that if I were just starting on the site, I would start with the stepping stone lessons, which are great. They're much shorter. The content is delivered in a more in a manner that thinking that the person that's watching them is kind of gets getting their feet wet with jazz. So I would do all of those, and then I would do the essential lessons. I do have on the site also another series that I created just called a suggested course of study. And these are all like what I think of the essential lessons, just to get the framework of jazz guitar together. And then move on to the more, they're not necessarily advanced, but they contain a lot of material that is involved in the stuff I just mentioned to you. And that's what I would recommend. No, I don't ever use octave pedals. I haven't used pedals in quite a long time. You know, and I enjoy it now, just to show up to a gig with a guitar cable. For me, is I think this is the way it's going to be until the very, very end. Eduardo, hello from Brazil. Could you give us some tips to improvise on inner urge music? There are so many major sevens. Yeah. I mean, I played that last week. I got my butt kicked on it. Somebody called it, and I hadn't played it in too long. Maybe I'll just play it again. I was like I said, I got my butt kicked. So I took my own advice, which is when you walk out of a gig and you feel like you weren't doing your best as you could, just to go home and shed it. And that's what I did. So I feel a lot better about it now. But it's not a matter of like very quickly or anything like that. But that first chord is F sharp minor 7 flat 5, but you're not treating it like it's in a 2-5-1 in minor, you know? To everybody's good health. It's not like a 2-5 in minor there. I'm treating it modally. So F sharp minor 7 flat 5, I'll play A melodic minor. So I'm thinking these more of modal moments rather than the expected destination that we would find in a standard tune. Then your F major 7 sharp 11 Lydian. Triad pairs. I'm just getting ready to release a lesson on that called Triad pairs. Probably by the middle of next week I'll have it done. And then I would do the same thing on those descending. They're all the same. Either treat them modally, like F Lydian, E flat Lydian, D flat Lydian. Right now I'm playing some pentatonics. To be specific, a half step lower than the root of the chord. D flat major 7 sharp 11, C minor pentatonic. Which is great. Then through all these, I'm not doing so much major 7 sharp 11s here. I'm keeping them pretty straight ahead, pure major 7 chords. So you really can hear the movement between each chord. The stuff I'm explaining to you right now, you know, again, I'm doing it quick because I don't want to. I'd rather play for you guys and give you information. I promised I would answer all questions, so I'm definitely doing that. But I've got tons of lessons on the site about that are, you know, very, very in depth with a lot of written material that you can get some practicing on. But I don't know if let's play that. I really love that tune. Let's make sure I have it. So it's all this. And then, let's give that a shot. So again, I'm just going to take my time so I don't do anything dumb technically. Switching over to Ableton Live where I get my loops all set up. So as always, I start by tapping the tempo. Let's get rid of the comping that I just did on the other tune. So, that's about 222, and that looks right by Bill Stewart. Turn him up a little bit. All right, and I'll pick this slot to record it in. Let's switch back to the live feed and my mug. So like I said, I think the key to answer your question is you got to treat every one of those chords modally because they're not resolving to their typical places we find in standard tunes. So that whole idea of sevenths, thirds, and all that kind of stuff goes completely out the window on a tune like this. They're just colors, and it's just a matter of just being able to apply the chord scales that are appropriate. And when I say that, I don't mean, you know, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, A melodic minor. I'm not going to go, you know, that's the A melodic minor scale. And those would be the right notes. But it'd be the same thing if I said on a B or A blues or something that you could play A minor pentatonic. I wouldn't expect you to do this. So there's an expectation of language. So within that minor 7 flat 5, that's all stuff that I've transcribed and learned, you know, from my own heroes. You could probably hear a lot of Pat Martino in there. But yeah, that's so I'm not thinking about any kind of resolutions at all. So let's give this a shot. Everything should be set up. So 2 measures of count off. I did it again. Sorry about these endings, you guys. Okay, so that's Joe Henderson's Inner Urge. And a bit of a redemption for me from last time when I got hammered on that one. Okay, again, thanks everybody for being here. Andreas and Eduardo, Luigi, and Sanja, all the way in the Ukraine. Thomas, how you doing, man? I hope you're doing all right, man. Peter Jenkins, thank you. Had to Be You, that's a beautiful tune. Mr. Mambo Music, Jazz Action. You guys have good names, man. Freddy the Freeloader, got a match. You guys are really making me work. Misty. Chet, I'm glad you got a kick out of the clap. It's sorry, I forgot to do it. It's supposed to be attached to this key command. I gotta get better at that. Benson tune. Okay. Ian, funny joke. Pick and Stone. Hey man, good to see you. Thanks for spending time on my. I think you spent some time on my website. Appreciate it. That's a big loaded question. I try to answer it a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to become turn into a video lesson. I will give you like an overview like I had just done. Okay, great. Up Jump Spring, these are beautiful tunes. Stefano, and again, thank you guys for being here. So there's a bunch of tunes that I really like. It Had to Be You is one that I haven't played in a while either. Man, you know, what a nice song. A little loud too. Hold on. Uh-oh, not sure which string it is. Do not have perfect pitch. There it was. All right, anyway. I'm hearing that diminished one chord. And they don't do the 2-5 here. They just go right to the chord. 4 chord. little solo for a second, and then I'll do the comping. So I will play, I'll put that into Ableton Live. Like just like try to find like a real hard swinging tempo here. Okay, so again, let's get a tempo. All right, so that looks like about 153. Actually, exactly. Let's see how this sounds. I'm gonna get rid of the other comping first. That's good. All right, so I'll record into that slot there and get back to the stream. All right, no mistakes so far with that. So it had to be you. Had to be you. All right. Play the freeloader. Got a match. Do not have a match. Benson tune. Let's see. Jump down to some other Thomas and some Bossa. Yeah, Desafinato. I had a request there for State. That's a beautiful tune. I think I'll play that. And Danny West. I'd love to tour Europe, when all this is over. And like I say to everybody, whoever asks me that question, is that all I need is some gigs, man. I can get myself to Europe. I just need the gigs and a place and a hotel. But I can cover my own flight expenses. Estate would be nice. But let me say hello to Pink and Stone again, and Danny and Thomas, Andreas. Andreas has asked me if I have any substitution chords for giant steps. Man, that tune has got there's nothing but substitution chords. I don't. I like the opposite, taking those changes and putting them on other tunes. And Pick and Stone, I'll answer this and then I'll play the tune. Because you ever play with Joe Cohn or Andy Brown? Andy Brown I don't know, but Joe Cohn I do. And I'll just tell you really quickly. Yeah, I went to Berklee College of Music graduating from high school in 1979. And Joe, I guess Joe and I are the same age. So he was there at Berkeley, and it was just untouchable, man, untouchable. At that time, I could hardly play any kind of jazz at all. I was, coming out of high school playing Led Zeppelin tunes and stuff like that. But Joe was a virtuosic bebop musician at that time. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was such an inspiration to be around him, and I don't think he ever really thought much of me as a guitar player, but I recognized like the greatness in him like immediately. And then over the years, because his family, his father, of course, is a famous Alcone, tenor player from the swing era, we would end up being on these different jazz festivals together. And when I was living up in the New York area, I lived in Jersey, but there was an area in the Pennsylvania called the Poconos, specifically a place called the Delaware Water Gap, where a great jazz club exists called the Deer Head Inn. And tons of great musicians have played there. Keith Jarrett's done records there. Actually, Vic Juris, played there so many times. But anyway, I would run to Joe on these different events and try to, catch up with him. As you guys know, if you know him, he's a little bit, eccentric as a personality. So he's really hard to connect with sometimes. But he's an absolute musical genius. I witnessed him playing with, I forget the tenor player's name, like an old swing style tenor player. This is not too long ago, maybe 8 to 10 years ago. And they were trading fours. And Joe verbatim was playing back note for note the previous four of the tenor saxophone player. I mean, it was astonishing, man. Such a gifted musician. I wish I could spend more time with him. He and I talked a lot that particular day that I'm talking about. But as the years have gone on, we've run into each other time and time again, and really would love to have the opportunity to play with him again. But yeah, he was a very, very important person in my life, just as far as seeing what's possible on the instrument at a very young age. So it had a big impact on me. Okay, so I think I was going to do State. And Glynis, you guys got to remember, you see me here just kind of laying down changes to do a tune like by Matheny that's very heavily produced. Plus, I don't really know it. So anyway, let me take a look at State. That's been a while too. Now I'm forgetting it. That chord there. Hold on a second. This is 2/5 C sharp minor. Let's double check that. Okay, got it. Okay, so Estate. So let's jump over to Ableton Live and tempo. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Sorry for the incredibly horrible singing. 139-ish. I only have one Bossa Nova groove in here anyway. That seems to work. Got to get rid of the other comping though. So let's do this one. Turn it up a little bit. And that's going to do it. So let's change one thing here. All right, and I'll record it right there. jump back to the stream. Let's make sure I have this. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 2. Estate. Almost like the real thing. That's a beautiful song, man. I screwed up too. Never really got that sound right. Okay. All right. Naum, 2 questions, but I don't see them. Okay. Could you tell me your opinion on the Berklee Volume 2 method book? I think those books, the whole series, 1 through 3, are great. I mean, it's just, as far as just teaching fundamentals of the guitar. Will it teach you to be a good jazz guitar player? I think it's helpful, because obviously it is. The chord stuff in particular are geared toward a jazz guitarist. Still no substitute for getting into those records, man. Lifting solos for recordings, playing along with the people you love. That's the only way to get to a place of fluency and comfort. but that series of books, I loved it, man. I loved it. I really, really, I thought that was one of the most powerful methods of teaching. Such a great way of learning the guitar. So I'm a big advocate of that. Nam has asked me to demonstrate some Benson blues licks, double stops. By the way, I have a lesson specifically on that. I'll show you, but it's called Benson Blues Licks on my website. But I'll do it. Let's see. Thank you, Stefano. Good night to you too. Ian, thank you. And anything by Pat Martino. Okay, Mimosa. Emmanuel, thank you. Yeah, Vic Juris, man. Yeah, it was Harry Allen. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, so Naim, you know Tom. Tom's an old friend from that part of the country we were just talking about, where Joe's from, and Keith Jarrett is from, and Al Cohen and Joe Cohen. I mean, a bunch of the amazing alto player. I feel awful that I'm forgetting his name. One of my old friends, Nelson Hill. I can't believe I'm forgetting. You guys know who I'm talking about too. Anybody who knows that area. He's one of the greatest alto players, like in the style of Charlie Parker. And for whatever reason, I'm just blanking out. But anyway, yeah, ma'am, I'm sorry we missed that trip. Yeah, that would have been a nice thing with the masterclass at your college. Dimitri, what do you think about learning jazz guitar with books? I think as a supplement for sure. But you have to learn. I think like the people before us, before the books came along. Before jazz became a such a documented. I'm talking about. It's music, and the guys like Miles and Dizzy, although they knew a lot about music, they learned just by jumping up in the bandstand and just getting beaten up every day and figuring out what needs to be improved. It happens to me when I'm even doing these things with you guys. Like for instance that bridge. I totally messed that up. I know it now, but in the course of things, I just didn't play it right. But I'll recheck it for sure. All right, Luigi, take care. I know Jim Snydero too. Did a jazz conception where he writes solos over standards. Oh, that's so crazy. That's how you found about Joe. Joe's a giant, man. He's an absolute giant. Okay, I'll look up Andy Brown for sure. I don't know any Django tunes. Bruno Martino, yeah, it's a great, beautiful song. Okay, Naima and Rob Hendricks, thank you for being here. How do I spell the tune I just played? E-S-T, E-S-T-A-T-E, estate. There were a couple of other tunes here that I thought would really be nice. Yeah, after such a mellow thing, maybe one of those Pat tunes. I really only know one. Sorry. That's called Cisco. It's just an extended blues. So it's a 24 measure blues with a chromatic 2/5 and G. Let's give that one a shot. All right, let's take you over to Ableton Live with me. And tap in that tempo. So 207. Let's see. See this Lewis Hayes or Bill Stewart. Let's see which one sounds better. I always forget to take the previous comping away. They're both nice. I'll do the Lewis Hayes one only because I've done the Bill Stewart one a bunch of times tonight. That's the opening melody. Okay, so here we go. Two measures of count off. Like I said, it's just a G blues, 24 measure extended blues. That's too slow. Sorry, you guys. It's just too slow. It's better. Oh, here I am about to make mistakes. You guys are probably getting frustrated. I'm sorry, but I want to get you back to the stream. This is the mistakes I would make all the time. All right, so I'm back. I screwed up Ableton Live. Sorry. Cisco. I should have one when it's not so great. All right. Maybe one more of these things. There were a bunch of really good requests. Let's see. So Rob Hendricks, thank you. Emmanuel, thank you. Ian, thank you very much too. So let's just end with one thing. I've got some of these backing tracks from my. Somebody wanted to hear a Benson tune though. I always like that song, Weekend in LA. So let me just jump over to Ableton Live and get that going right away. Oops, hold on a second. Let me get you guys there too. One 114. I've only got a few of these funk grooves here. Trying to find which one I like better. That's pretty good right there. All right, so jumping back to you guys, and this will do it for me, I think. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. I'll say goodbye like after I'm done with this tune, but I really do appreciate everybody being here and all the great questions. All right, let's just go for this. All right, everybody. Thank you so much again for hanging out with me. Everybody stay safe. I know it's insanely tough times for all of us, but I'm glad you took time out to hang out with me tonight. All right, guys. Rob, Ian, Emmanuel. It's got a weird spelling of just nonsense syllables. Andreas. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye.